In this tutorial, we'll cover how to create a new page or post on your WordPress blog. To do that, you're going to first need to be logged into your blog. So go to your WordPress blog and log in. And then in the admin area, if you look to the left of the admin area, these menus here may be collapsed or they may be expanded. Just depends on how you left them the last time. But if you look at the top on the left here, there's a post menu. Click to the right of it and it will expand your post menu. This is where you can add and edit any post on your blog. And then on down you'll see a pages menu. Click to expand and you can add and edit any pages. So before we get into actually adding or editing a post or page, let's look at basically what they are and the basic differences between the two. If we look back at the front of this WordPress blog here, this is a default blog that I've just installed new, and I haven't added anything to it yet. There will be a default post on the blog that says Hello World on your WordPress blog, and there's a default page on the right. And essentially the way I like to think about these is that a post is something that that's the primary type content you're going to publish to your blog, and your post will always show in chronological order with the newest thing at the top. So I like to think about post as the latest news, updates, types of things that you want to publish to your blog. Every time you do a post, it will show at the top and the previous post will just be pushed down. Your pages, on the other hand, don't show on the front unless you set your blog to show a static page, and we'll talk about that in a later tutorial. But your pages will only show when a person clicks on a link to the page. So if you look at this default blog, I have the Hello World post showing when a person first comes to the blog, and then I have an About page that's here created by default as well. If I click on that link, then it will show the contents of that About page. So I like to think of post as latest news, latest update types of things that will automatically show in chronological order on the front of the blog. I like to think of pages as an area where I would put more static and permanent type content. So I'm a teacher, for example, and if I'm a teacher and I'm using this blog as my teacher website, then for post I may put things here such as we're going on a field trip on Monday, make sure the kids bring in their coat and $2 for snacks and those kinds of things. And then I may post and say we have an upcoming test coming up on Friday, make sure they study their word list. So it's all the latest news kinds of things so that when a person logs into my blog, they see it here immediately. For a page, on the other hand, I might put my classroom rules because that's more permanent type content. That's not something that I want to scroll off the page. I want a link to always be there so that when anyone visits my blogs, parents or students or whatever, for example, they can look to the right and there will always be a link to my classroom rules. There's really no hard fast rule as to what you would use a post for versus a page, but in general I like to think of post again as my continuous content that I'm publishing here, latest news kinds of things, and pages for the more traditional type web page, the more static permanent content that I would want a link to always be there that a person could click on. So now that we see the basic difference, let's see how to write a post or a page. If you go to your site admin area, that's where you always go to create posts and pages. If you want to write a new post, you just click on the post drop down, click add new, and the next screen that comes up will give you a writing area for your post. Now I'm going to resize my window a little bit so you can see more of this area. So on my post writing area now, you can see here where I have a place to put the title of the post, and I'm just going to type in this is a new post, so you can see what it is on the front, and then come down here to type in the body of the post. Now in your post you can do all kinds of formatting and stuff here with the WYSIWYG editor or the rich text editor, and you have the tab for visual or HTML. So if you know HTML code or you would rather use these HTML tags here to format your post, you can go to HTML mode, or you can use the visual mode. Most of the time I just use the visual mode. So you can type, you can put virtually anything in these posts that you want. If I wanted to have bullets in my post, I could type them in here and format them right here using the editor, just like you do in a word processing program, for example. Of course, you can bold and italicize your text. If you click on the little icon here that looks like a keyboard, it will give you another row of icons that you can add information with. I'll just point out one thing now. If you are copying information from Microsoft Word, Word has lots of code that your blog is not going to be able to understand. So if you copy from Word, there's really the best way to do that is to copy from Word, paste into a text editor, plain text editor like Notepad, and then copy from there and paste into here, and then do your formatting. However, you can copy from Word and then come here and click on the Paste from Word icon to clean out some of that code as well. But that's just a little tip here. If you're copying from a word processor and pasting in here, the editing might be a little off if you don't go through a notepad or something like that. But anyway, you can type information in here, www.chronicle.com, hit the space bar or hit the enter key, and it becomes an active hyperlink. You can highlight your word or words, and then up on the toolbar, click the hyperlink icon. Just like you see in your word processing programs and so forth, and type in your web address here. If you want that web address to open in a new window, you can set it here to open in a new window. Click Insert, and now your word is bulleted. So again, you have some basic formatting that you can do to your post here. Then on the right, we're just going to look at some of the common settings here. We're not going to go in depth in everything that you could possibly do on this, but you can read the screens, and the best way to figure out more advanced posting options is to just practice, just to do it, post it, and see what it looks like. But to publish your post, when you're done with it, if you look to the right now, you'll see over here under your Publish area, the Publish button. That's the way you publish it to the front of your blog. If you were to hit Save Draft, then it just saves it back here as a draft in the area where you can come in and open it in the future and edit it more before you publish. It's sort of like saving a draft email without sending it. But when you're ready to publish this to the front for the public to view it, then you click the Publish icon here. Now there are some other settings that you can do here. If you click on Visibility, you can make this a sticky post if you would like, and that will just stick it at the top so that any new post will go under it, so it sort of breaks that chronological order a bit, so that if you have an important post that you want to stay at the top of that chronological list for a while, you can make it sticky. You can password protect the post, you can make it a private post, and so forth. You can come here to where it says Publish Immediately by default, or you can change the timestamp. So you can actually publish things in the future. This is February 21st. If I were to come here and say publish this on the 22nd at whatever time and hit Publish, then it wouldn't show up now, but at that day and time it would show up. So lots of little settings that you could change over here. However, most often what you're going to want to do is just come in here, write your post, and come over here. You'll leave all of these to default, and then you just hit Publish. Now there are some other things you can do that I'll go over in a future tutorial, such as tagging your post with tags. And I'm just going to tag this one and say, just so we'll see what a tag looks like, website, and you hit Add, and it puts that tag on it. You can add another tag here, click Add. If you already have tags, you can click Choose from Popular Tags here, and it will show you any tags that you currently have, and you can pick from them. I don't have any more here, so it doesn't have any in the list, but if so, I would just click on it to add more tags to this. And then you can file your post in a category. And by default, WordPress has uncategorized category. If I wanted a new category, I'm just going to come here and maybe I'll make a category called Popular Websites and click Add. And I create the category right here. And any category that you check, then the post will be filed in. You can file your post in one category or multiple categories. It doesn't matter. If I wanted to create another category, I could just come here and type in another one and click Add. So that's some of the basic things that you can do with your posts when you write them, as far as some things in the Publish area, tagging your post, and categorizing your post. And then down at the bottom, we'll skip over some of these more advanced features. I've been blogging for years and years and years, and I've seldom used the excerpt, the trackback, or custom fields. Those are more advanced features, and we can talk about those in a future tutorial. But down at the bottom, one that you might be interested in is to allow comments on this post or not. By default, if you haven't changed this setting in your configuration settings, your post will allow comments. If you don't want to allow comments on a post, then uncheck it. And the same thing with trackbacks and pingbacks. Check or uncheck to allow or not allow them. Anyhow, when you're finished writing your post, click Publish. And then go out to the front of your blog once it's published. And you should see your new post here at the top of your blog. So it's as simple as that. Now if I wanted to, I could go back and write another post and it will show at the top. And notice here's the chronological order I was talking about. The Hello World post is pushed down. The new post now is at the top. And my hyperlinks work and everything. So your posts show here. Now if I wanted to add a page, I would do essentially the same thing. I'm just going to my site admin area. And this time, instead of a new post, I'm going to go down to page. I'll either edit an existing page or add a new one. I'll just add a new one here. And you essentially do a page the same way you do a post. It has all of the fields are very similar. Many of them are identical. On the pages, sometimes you'll have different things that you can do to a page, like the attributes here. You can have a parent page, and you can pick a page template and so forth, and determine the page order. But most everything is the same. There's just a couple of different things as far as organizing your page or managing your page versus post. But on a page, I could come here, for example, and I'll say classroom rules, and I would come down here and enter my classroom rules here. And just because this typing area is short doesn't mean that's what you're limited to. Of course, as you type more, it would just expand for you. So enter whatever information you want there, and the same thing as applies to your post. When you're ready to publish your page, you simply come to the right and click Publish. Once it's published, then you can look at your blog. Now notice there's nothing obvious out here that's changed because it's not a post. But if you look to the right, you'll see a new link for your page. So here's my classroom rules page. I click on that link and my classroom rules are visible. So that would mean that if I've been using this blog for months and months and I have loads of new latest news type items out here that have pushed down and scrolled off the page, for example, my classroom rules link will always be here. So again, latest news kinds of stuff, more permanent type things for pages, and that's the basic difference between the two. But you create them very much the same way in the admin area.